The war in Ukraine continues. The battle for Donbass in late spring and early summer has turned into a contest of artillery. The Russian military has a huge advantage in the quantity of available weaponry. The Ukrainian Ministry of Defense estimates that Russia has up to 15 times the artillery stores of Ukraine. On the battlefield, each volley fired by Ukrainian troops is matched by 6 from the enemy. So, if the Russians have such a strong advantage in numbers, how is Ukraine months into the full-scale invasion still successfully resisting these unrelenting forces? Is it about heroism? Not only. What Ukraine's troops lack in artillery, they make up for with professionalism and superior technology. Take, for example, unmanned aerial vehicles. Drones allow our troops to pinpoint enemy locations from the sky. They attack with precision, using a fraction of the artillery. To understand what it's like to control a drone in war, we talked to a pilot from Ukraine's top NATO drone crew. To protect his identity, we can't give his name or show his face here. Let's call him Drononymous. His mission is critical: recon the enemy's positions and guide the artillery to take them out with as few shells as possible.
We are addicts who always want to fly as far as possible and see as much as possible to hit the enemy as accurately as possible.
What does the work of a drone pilot look like? You won't see fancy chairs or VR headsets. The UAV pilot's workplace is a thicket, a trench, or specially equipped vehicle. The enemy understands the dangers of drones. While they hunt for operators, our crews work in secret. Even the smallest error or oversight can lead to death. Imagine that your drone team arrives at the launch site, prepares everything necessary, and takes off. Suddenly, you're surprised by the sound of artillery. It turns out that there are other Ukrainian guns nearby. They fire a few volleys and then quickly move out. Such are the conditions of a modern artillery duel: to strike fast and then quickly change locations before the enemy has time to respond. But these unexpected neighbors spell trouble for your crew. Now you're vulnerable to Russian return fire. Sure enough, the Russian drone Orlan arrives, looks around, and directs his artillery at you and your team of pilots.
It's time to run away, just like in Hollywood movies, as everything around you explodes.
Russia is constantly on the prowl for UAVs. With Russia's whole arsenal of weapons mobilized against drones and their pilots, drone crews have to be ready to move on at instant's notice. This is the only way to avoid enemy fire. In spite of dangers, the advanced capabilities of drones make them worth the risk for the men and women who pilot them. A scout working on foot spends days collecting vital reconnaissance. With a drone, UAV pilots can collect the same intelligence in just an hour and a half. Then they instantly transmit the enemy's coordinates to artillery, who immediately adjust their targets in real time.
A few years ago, everyone realized that artillery without a UAV is like a rifle without a sight.
The most important tasks for military drones are in the second echelon, where the enemy has headquarters, reserves and warehouses, and sleeping quarters.
When it is possible to find such locations and bring in artillery, then an entire technical battalion can be destroyed in just a couple of hours.
That's 600 to 800 soldiers and officers with equipment. Russia fuels its campaign of terror with nearly endless weaponry. Ukraine has no chance to win this war in numbers. That's why they fight for quality. And drones are the linchpin, like the famous Bayraktars strike at the front on their own or recon the enemy's positions. Ukrainians even rig ordinary recreational drones with mines to take out the enemy. But the work of civilian drones is a topic for a separate video. Write in the comments if that's something you want to see. Ukraine needs your donations. Donate here to help our defenders buy more drones and to wage an honest fight. While the Russian army blindly launches missiles at Ukrainian towns and cities by the thousands, Ukrainians will continue to defend their homeland with professionalism, cleverness, and heroism. Join the side of freedom.